What's up guys, Ruppy here bringing you the team builder for my week 2 battle for the SAPL, which I guess now stands for Super Amazing Pokemon League, Super Awesome Pokemon League, Super Something Pokemon League. I'll just keep referring to it as the SAPL, it's simpler on everybody. Anyway, my week 2 battle against the Los Angeles Aggrons, coached by Liam. They are not exactly in a good spot right now because they are, they're 0-1 with a -6 differential. Week 1 was not a good week for them. I, however, am sitting at 1-0 with a +3 differential. Got a bit of flack from the rest of my league because of how I use my team, but it is a bit more offensive and momentum oriented than I'm used to, and I still do need to get used to it, I will admit to that. But I do not play for differential unless it's absolutely necessary, because I'm of the mindset that as long as I'm able to secure victories, then differential is not really going to matter if I'm kind of sitting around near the top anyway. That's kind of how I've always played. It's just safer that way, in my opinion. But regardless, before I get off on a rant, Liam has a team I do not like. Mostly because of the Mon sitting there as his S-tier pick, Manaphy. The bane of my existence. I hate this thing with a passion in draft format. Granted, that's partially because of someone else who was also in this league, kind of did a really bad number on me with Manaphy in another league so long ago. But Manaphy's just a pain to prepare for just because there is so many openings that could allow that thing to set up a tail glow and just start running through teams, and I don't like it. I mean, granted, I do have a lot of mons that outpace it, but Z Rain Dance just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense since it is one of his, yeah, Z Rain Dance just doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you ask me, just because of the fact that he needs the coverage to be able to deal with my team. He also has Thunderous Incarnate, which is another giant problem to my team. Just the fact that that thing's coverage, the potential to run a Z Crystal, the fact that it's fast. I do have Mons that can outspeed it, but I don't have a whole lot that can take hits very well from it to some degree is the problem there. Salamence is just a pain in general. One Dragon Dance and that thing can go to town on me, and I would expect a Dragon Dance set if he brings it, just because he needs something to be able to outspeed all my super fast things. Darmanitan, I am honestly expecting them to bring Darmanitan, and a Scarf one at that, because Darmanitan can do so much to my team. I do have a fair amount of counters, well, I wouldn't say a lot, I have a fair amount of counters to it, but that thing definitely threatens a lot of things on my team, for sure. Serena and Hitmontop, those are both rapid spinners. They kind of function, well, as spinners in relatively similar roles. They're fairly bulky. They do have some differences because Hitmontop obviously gets Intimidate. Serena has Queenly Majesty to prevent priority attacks. And, of course, it has the potential to even be a Cleric set as well. Well, at least as far as running Aromatherapy, I don't believe it gets Wish. Dusclops, that thing is just fat. With Eviolite, that thing is a pain to take down. I would not be surprised if he brought that. Empoleon, it's a defogger. It is actually one of only 2 hazard setters on his team. So if he's planning on running hazards to try to cripple my momentum, part of me would expect him to bring Empoleon just because of rocks and defog. But to be fair, I do have plenty that actually takes care of Empoleon as well. Whimsicott, Grass Fairy, has Prankster. Probably going to try some kind of Prankster shenanigans against my team. I would not be surprised if he used Prankster to try to Stun Spore half my team to basically slow me down so that he can handle me a little easier. Toxicroak, I don't really think he's going to bring Toxicroak. I mean, it does hit fairly hard, but I think he kind of has to forego a Swords Dance set in favor of, say, or if he has room for it, he needs Sucker Punch on there somewhere to kind of get around the fact that I have a lot that outspeeds and kills that thing. And Rhydon, again, Eviolite, bulky as hell, more so on the physical side, just because it's a rock type, it eats hits, it sets up rocks. He has an interesting team, but it's a difficult team for me to deal with just because, one, the Manaphy, because Manaphy always causes me problems, and especially the Thunderous Salamence combo, because while they are both horribly weak to ice, they both have the potential to set up, and they both have the potential to cause a lot of damage to my team if they catch me in a vulnerable position. I think I've prepped to try to minimize the amount of opportunities he's going to get to pull that off, but it's going to take a bit of work on my part to make it happen. So let's go ahead and get into my team, starting with the debut of Mystic, my Gardevoir. I have not used this thing in quite some time. The last time I used Gardevoir in a draft format league, not Mega Gardevoir, regular Gardevoir, was a league that only got 3 or 4 weeks in before it unfortunately bit the dust because everyone was just kind of too busy and the league just ended up falling apart, unfortunately. That's kind of where Discord makes things a little easier, I guess, as opposed to Skype. It's easier to, I guess, catch people on Discord, but this isn't going to be a Discord versus Skype rant. I debated on what set I wanted to run with Mystic, because part of me really wanted to run a Cleric set as well. But in the end, I ultimately decided I'm going to try out an Assault Vest set. Max HP, max special attack, with a modest nature to try to hit as hard as possible. I got 4 special defense EVs, which with the Assault Vest will help out. Synchronize is there if he tries to status me or something. Mostly if his Manaphy attempts to maybe scald me, I can get a burn on it and help wear it down. But Mystic is here to kind of try to eat some hits from Manaphy and be able to wear it down so I could hopefully take it out with something else. And also kind of just tank and take on the rest of his team as well to some degree. Psyshock, Moonblast, Thunderbolt, and Grass Knot covers the vast majority of his team, actually. If it's not a super effective hit, then it's just going to be a very powerful hit because of Psyshock and Moonblast coming off max special attack, modest nature. I'm a bit iffy on it because I feel a Cleric set would be a little more helpful in this game, but I'm going with it anyway because my gut says this is going to be one of the ways I bring down Manaphy most of all, and I'm going to trust my gut on this one because Manaphy's a problem. It's always a problem for me. I wish it wasn't a problem, but Manaphy is a problem. Next up is Laundry Day, coming back for another week. It didn't really get to do much this last week. I mean, it helped put my team in a bit of a position, but it didn't really get a kill. I mean, it didn't die, but it also didn't get a kill. It was the only mon that did not get a kill last week, with my team kind of sharing the love there. Pretty much the same exact set I ran last week, except I took out Thunderbolt and put in Pain Split instead. That might seem like a weird choice because Thunderbolt would definitely be something the Manaphy's not going to like taking. But to be fair, Manaphy's going to outspeed me anyway. And if he runs Energy Ball, I'm not really expecting Laundry Day to take a hit. It's more there. It can eat some special hits, but it's more there to deal with some of his physical attackers and maybe try to burn the Salamence to cripple that thing. Hydro Pump the Darmanitan. This thing is a phenomenal Darmanitan counter, which I'm expecting that thing to come. The giant flaming monkey thing. It's also a way to deal with his Rhydon, since with Levitate he can't Earthquake me. And worst case scenario, anything barring the Rhydon, I can simply Volt Switch out of to try to gain some initiative and go into something that can deal with it if necessary. Plus it does hit Manaphy fairly hard. Moving on, we have Quartz coming back again. This time, I'm just not playing games. I'm going with a straight-up Choice Scarf set. Earthquake, Stone Edge, Knockoff, and U-Turn. Max attack, max speed. You guys kind of know the drill with that. It's a relatively standard-ish set, but it works because Earthquake hits a lot of things on his team really hard. I mean, Hitmontop and Serena can kind of take it, but I can use Knockoff to get rid of items. I can U-turn out in Serena for some nice damage. Manaphy's not going to appreciate taking Earthquakes if he's not running some kind of weird, physically bulky set, which most people are kind of more focused on just setting up with Tail Glows, maybe Calm Mind. So I don't typically see a lot of... I mean, it'd be a nice option, but that kind of leaves them open in some other areas. Knockoff also helps to get rid of the Eviolite on things like Rhydon and Dusclops to help open them up. Basically, Quartz is here to be my because I'm not bringing Mega Beedrill this week. I really wanted to, I considered it, but he has a lot of things that, even if Mega Beedrill outspeeds them, it's just not a good matchup. I mean, Scarf Darmanitan is a very likely possibility. I would have some problems breaking through Rhydon just because, even without the Eviolite, that thing is stupidly physically bulky, so even a Drill Run is not doing a whole hell of a lot to it. Dusclops can eat hits from it, even if I run Knockoff. Whimsicott can outspeed with Prankster, maybe get a Stun Spore off, which would paralyze it, and that wouldn't be good in the slightest. Hitmontop has Intimidate for it. Salamence, there's not much I can really hit Mence with that would really do a whole lot. It's kind of the same with Thundurus to some degree. Manaphy, I mean, it might be a nice answer to Manaphy, because I can outspeed it, unless he actually does bring the Z Rain Dance set, which I'm really not expecting him to. Sorry, cat's knocking around my microphone right now. But I feel Quartz can kind of serve that role here, just because he does have a fair amount of things that Quartz can kind of handle, especially since the Intimidate does allow me a better position to deal with the Salamence, and I can really hurt that thing with a Stone Edge. I can Earthquake a lot of things on his team. Knockoff helps me get rid of items, especially his 2 Eviolite users, and just kind of helps get me some momentum in general. U-Turn, I mean, that's pretty much what my team is, VoltTurn. I know that's not probably the greatest explanation, but yeah, I'm trying to cut this down a bit. Just so you guys aren't having to sit through me going so long of an explanation. But Quartz is really here just to try to be my revenge killer and otherwise just try to open up some holes in his team that I can exploit later with some of my other mons as we move on to my last 3 here. Another debut this week is Bomb Track, my Druddigon, because he loves to rage against the machine. Yes, that is a fairly obvious joke, I would hope, but try telling Druddigon that. Druddigon's not here to play games. He's here to just rage and wreck everything. This is a bit of an odd set I'm running. It's a rather unique set, I will say that. It is 176 defense in EVs, 80 special defense with the Assault Vest, as well as max HP. This thing is not necessarily meant to hit hard. It's meant to kind of fill a similar role to what Gardevoir is doing, except in a more defensive capacity. Depending on what he exactly is with his Manaphy, if he's running Modest maybe, then the Assault Vest might not work. But even if he gets up 1 Tail Glow, I've calced that my Druddigon should be able to live at least 1 Ice Beam from it, and be able to maybe Dragon Tail it out, or just try to hit it with something to try to put it in a position where I can handle it with something else. Dragon Tail would be preferable, but I know it does have a chance to miss as well. This thing, however, is more so meant to take on the Thundurus, because there is not a whole lot that, even with a nasty plot up, Thundurus can actually do to really dent this Druddigon, to be perfectly honest with you, just with the 80 special defense EVs and the Assault Vest. Not even an HP Ice is going to do too much to me, which then allows me to Dragon Tail it out if I want to get it out of there. Rock Slide is definitely going to hurt that thing. Earthquake is there for his ground weak things, such as the Darmanitan, which is not going to enjoy Flare Blitzing this thing, I'll tell you that much. Gunk Shot is there for things like Serena, definitely the Whimsicott. Overall, Bomb Track is really here to kind of fill a more defensive version of the role Gardevoir is, which was part of why I was hesitant initially to keep the AV set I concocted originally with Gardevoir. But to be fair, I think they can both serve me very well in this game by basically filling the same role in different capacities. Because Bomb Track is able to eat hits a little better than Gardevoir is with how I've set this up, which should hopefully allow me some openings to be able to wear some things down, because he would not be expecting this, I'll tell you that much right now. Because I don't believe the idea of Assault Vest Druddigon has ever come into existence before this game. If it has, then someone please feel free to link me evidence to prove me wrong, because I will gladly eat my words then. But let's move on to the star of the show this week. Archangel, my Zapdos. Yes, that is kind of a bit of a Twitch Plays Pokemon reference. I couldn't help myself. But I'm running Static as the ability. I don't think that's really going to matter too much if I run Pressure or Static, because the ability is not why I'm running this week. It might help maybe to slow down a few things from a physical attacking standpoint, like maybe the Darmanitan. But really, Archangel's goal here, because I'm running a bit of a 5th gen set, actually. I'm going all the way back to 5th gen. But offensive Zapdos actually causes his team a huge amount of problems. I've got Roost on there to try to preserve longevity if I see an opening to use it. But with Agility, I get up to +2 speed, and I outspeed everything on his team, even Scarf Darmanitan, even if he tries to run Z Rain Dance Manaphy. If he tries to Scarf anything of his own, I will be able to outspeed it. Basically, the plan is to set up Agility, and then with Thunderbolt and Hidden Power Ice basically serving as pseudo Bolt Beam coverage, remember when that was a thing back in the day? It pretty much destroys his entire team. There is not a lot that really can eat a Thunderbolt, and most of the things that can are not going to appreciate taking a Hidden Power Ice. Salmon certainly dies to it. Thundurus is not going to like Hidden Power Ice. Manaphy dies to T-Bolt. Darmanitan really can't take T-Bolts too well. Serena's not going to like eating a Hidden Power Ice. Well, you get the drill. Basically, the one and only thing that can necessarily eat a lot of hits from this thing would be his Dusclops. But if I can get the Eviolite off that thing, then it's certainly not going to appreciate taking those hits. Because I believe I can... It might be a bit of a roll, but I think I might actually be able to 2-hit KO it depending on what kind of spread he wants to bring. But that's just hypothetical. In practice, however, I'm almost positive Zapdos is going to be the star of the show in this game. It's just going to clean so much house. And to round out the team, I was a bit iffy on what to go with for my last Mon. But ultimately, I think I decided to go with Monokuma, simply because of what it can do to his slower Mons. Swords Dance seems kind of weird to run, but I figured I might be able to take advantage of one of his more defensive options. But Knockoff, Drain Punch, and Ice Punch pretty much do the job of covering everything. So if I predict a switch properly, I can easily kill something. Knockoff is there for the likes of Rhydon and Dusclops, and really just getting rid of items in general, as well as being powerful stab. Drain Punch gets me health back, as well as destroying some of the things like Empoleon, Rhydon. Basically, the Lumberry's there in case I get status, because I have a feeling one of his more defensive options is going to try to status me in some way. Or if I happen to catch an Errant Scald from a non-boosted Manaphy and somehow live it. Because I think without a Tail Glow, Monokuma actually is capable of living a Scald from Manaphy. And I'm going with Iron Fist just to give my punching moves a little extra pop, which is definitely going to be nice because I can use all the power I can get to try to punch some major holes in his team. And basically open the door, especially for my Zapdos plan, which is kind of how I'm planning to win this game. Is it going to work? Well, we're going to find out soon enough because that all depends on how well I handle the Manaphy more so. Because if Manaphy gives me problems, I have a feeling my entire team composition is going to fall apart here. But we will see how this plays out. So, I know this video seems a little discombobulated and I apologize. Yeah, it's just been a rough week, I mean, work-wise, but I'm gonna get settled in, I'm gonna get ready for this game, and with any luck, my Columbus Swoo will be able to move on to a 2-0 record. So, thank you guys so very much for watching, and bearing with me as I've kind of been discombobulated throughout this video. I have been Ruppy, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.